Hey there everyone, thank you for tuning in for another video. This is an update video of all the things that have happened in our homeschool over the last month. I've been trying to film these for you once a month because I feel like weekly updates are a little too frequent. I can't really give you a lot of information in those videos. And I was doing quarterly videos and I felt that that was kind of too long of a gap. So let me know down below if this monthly update is helpful to you all, if you like me doing it at this interval, and I will kind of adjust and go from there based on the feedback that I have, because I just want these videos to be helpful to you all. If you tuned in to the last video, then you know that I got math on my mind this month. This was a goal I had for this month, to figure out homeschool math for my 4th grader and a little bit for my kindergartner as well. So that will be the big update in this video, is what's happening with math. So definitely stay tuned if you want to hear about that. But I'm also going to tell you about some of the other things that I haven't really updated you on a whole lot because there's really nothing broke with those things, so no real changes. But I felt like I would take this video to just let you know about some things that I don't typically talk about, just because they kind of go on and are great and we just enjoy them and no changes, and that's why I don't hear about them. So this month's update, I'm actually going to share about my kindergartner and my 4th grader, and I'm going to hop in to my kindergartner first. So I have some notes here on my phone, and let me also know down below if this lighting is working for you guys. I got a brand new camera, thank you to my husband, and I'm just trying to figure out where is best to record because it's not a very good low light camera. And so I'm sitting here in my dining room, my light is like right on me, and I'm wondering if this is better, so let me know that down below as well. Okay, so I have some updates here for you first on my kindergartner. First of all, she is reading blends and sounds that I have not taught her yet. And one little update to go along with that is I actually feel that our Memorial Press phonics, while I love it, while my daughter's flourishing with it, I do feel that it's moving surprisingly slower than I expected. We are in book C out of a 4-book series that takes place during kindergarten. There are actually 5 books in the series, but 1 is scheduled for 1st grade. And I actually am surprised that we are not further along in phonics instructions and like vowel teams and consonant blends, beginning blends, and things like that, even ending sounds. We're just at consonant, vowel, consonant, word. We're still in short sounds. We haven't even gotten to long sounds yet. This is like our 23rd week of school, I think, and I'm just surprised at the slow march of this program. And I'm actually a little bit worried about book D because I've heard that it just really ramps up, and I know where it gets to at the end of book D. So I'm kind of concerned that like there's just going to be a ton thrown at us when we get to book D, but we will see. My daughter is doing great though. She's reading those vowel teams in words, in stories that I have never taught her. She's just kind of figuring it out from context, and I'm okay with that for now. We'll see when we get to actual instruction how she takes to it, but she's doing really good. But I thought I would share that with you in case you're using the Memorial Press program and you kind of feel that way too. I'm with you. I feel like it's moving a little slow, but Memorial Press, in my opinion, is a very solid program, and by the time they get to the end of kindergarten phonics, they're actually ahead of where most programs get. So I'm thinking that the end is going to be a sprint. We'll see how that goes. All right, next up for kindergarten update, we are down to just 2 days a week doing that special circle time setup that I prepared for my daughter. I'll leave a link down below where I kind of show you what I do in circle time. It's a real special time with just me and my girl, and we're just finding it doesn't really fit great in the school day, but it works out really well to do when Big Brother goes off to sports practice. So that's when we do it. We do it in the evenings, 2 nights a week when my son's out with my husband, and that's actually been a nice change because it's one less thing I feel like I have to do in the day, And yeah, I'm not tempted to just skip over it entirely because it is a special time that she really does look forward to and enjoys. So that is another change we made this past month. Looking here, one other update about kindergarten, then I'll get to that very anticipated 4th grade update. I have been doing Memorial Press recitation with my daughter, and it is going very well. I'm actually surprised at how quickly she is memorizing little facts and things that we haven't even covered. The recitation program, if you're not familiar with it, I'll leave some links down below to where I talk about it a little bit more. But the recitation program in Memorial Press goes along with like the whole core of material that they provide. So the recitation is basically just giving facts that you've covered in other weeks, other subject areas of the course or of the core, and just having you practice those by reciting them over and over and over again. So because we're not using the whole core for kindergarten, we've not covered a lot of those facts, but I just give them to her at the time that we practice recitation, and she's really remembering them, but beyond remembering them, she is actually applying them in other areas of the day. So she's not just, just memorizing it just for recitation. She's actually bringing out those facts and putting them to use in other ways, which really is exciting for me to see. All right, so that is all I want to update you for kindergarten. Now let's hop on to 4th grade. In the last video that I did in the way of an update, I let you know that once we had language arts taken care of, we were going to focus this month on math, and I let you know that I was pretty certain that math was going to be on its way out the door for my 4th grader, that we weren't going to continue with this math program. I let you know that I bought the Singapore challenging word problems and mental math workbooks and was adding that in, but my son was just feeling kind of stagnant and slow, and come on, when are we going to do anything new? We are, like I said, more than halfway through the homeschool year, and we weren't really encountering anything new in our math. We are using BGU Press Math 4, and previously we had used Singapore in levels 2 and 3. So we are really kind of used to that rigor of the Singapore math, but we really loved a lot of other things about BGU Press, the colorful, simple math books that were easy to follow, and I knew what I was supposed to teach and all of that. So that's why we switched back to BGU Press. And I told you in the last video that I was about 90% sure that we were going to be switching out. I was going to give it another month. Well, I'm glad I gave it another month because, dun dun dun, we are not switching math. We are going to stick with BGU Press through the end of this school year, but that doesn't mean we're going to stick with it for 5th grade. I'm very much on the hunt for math for 5th grade based on how this has gone. But I will tell you that I tried a new math thinking that was going to be the answer for the end of this year and for 5th grade, and it was a no-go. I tried CTC Math, and while it's a great program, we loved the instructor and his videos, there were some things that were just deal breakers for me. So if you want to hear more about that and why we chose to get a refund on our CTC Math, let me know below and I'll do a separate video on that. I think it offers a lot of great things, but if you have some of the same wants and wishes for a math program that I do, I would be happy to share with you why we just decided not to stick with it. We got it for like a week or two and used it, and that's not like me to return something, but I wasn't that committed to it yet. It was meant to replace something that I already was established in and I already knew well, and so I didn't feel committed to CTC Math at that point, and it wasn't what I wanted, so I just said, you know what, I'm just sending it back because I don't want to get something new that I'm going to be replacing, in a few months or something like that. If I already know it's not the replacement that I want, I'm just going to stick with what I have until I find the replacement that I want. So, sticking with BGU Math, we're continuing to add the Singapore challenging word problems and the mental math from Singapore, and I actually skipped some chunks of BGU Press Math. that was one of your suggestions. They said just skip ahead until you finally get to something new and then start the next level if you get done before the end of the school year. So we're kind of on that path right now. I am looking at possibly going back to Singapore for grade 5 or sticking with BGU Press or printing off the free new Good and Beautiful math that they have. I don't know. I've never purchased from the Good and the Beautiful except for a handwriting course once, and I've always kind of been leery of it because, well, of a lot of reasons. There's a lot of reasons I've just never really gotten on that train, but the new math actually looks pretty simplified and it's colorful, which is my son's biggest wish. And I don't think it would have any of the content in it from history that I'm concerned about using that program, so I might give it a try. We'll see. We'll see. But I'm on the hunt again for fall math. I thought I had it settled, but we're on the hunt again. So stay tuned to see what we choose for fall, but for the rest of 4th grade, we're just sticking with BGU Press and adding in those other things. Okay, let's motor on here. That was a long time to tell you about math. All right, I'm gonna just bullet point these other 4th grade updates for you real quick. Uncle Sam and You, we're gonna wrap up early. The second half of Uncle Sam and You, I feel, is a little drawn out. I feel like book 1 is a solid civics program and really is done well, and they find a way to make civics engaging as it can be, trying to put different things into story format and things like that as much as they can. I really think they do a good job, but the second half of the book is more about the different government departments and things like that that just don't really appeal to my son. And so we're kind of gonna take an expedited approach to finish up Uncle Sam and You. I've chosen out just about 1 lesson per unit. There are 4 lessons per unit, and I'm choosing 1 lesson per unit just about to finish up the school year. So we're actually going to be done with Uncle Sam and You with about 5 or 6 weeks left in our school year, and that's where I'm going to plug in my Olympics study that I previewed for you. I'll leave a link below to that. Make sure you're following me on the blog though, because that's where I'm going to post the book list for that unit that I create. All right, things like handwriting, geography, and typing, I don't talk about much here because they just work and go on week by week, and we enjoy them. The Evan Moore geography, we are doing mostly orally now. I started out the year having him fill out the worksheets, but we're just sitting with his maps and answering the questions together. It's much more enjoyable, and that's how we're doing it. We have also switched typing programs for my son. I think I might have noted that in the last update for you, but if not, we have switched from Typetastic to typing.com for him, and there are no more tiers, and so we are happy with that. And then lastly, handwriting. My son has really just kind of blossomed into a beautiful cursive writer, and I wish that there was more opportunity for him to use it because he really does write beautifully, and I can't recommend those EXL workbooks enough. They really are great for reluctant writers. If you have, a kiddo that just doesn't want to learn cursive, they really make it fun, and I really like those. All right, last little bit here, and then I'll wrap up this video. Science. My 4th grader is using God's Design for Life. In fact, both my kids are. And we just wrapped up our human body unit and have actually started our animal unit. And the human body unit I was a little concerned about because the vocabulary in the plant unit was a bit advanced, and being a nurse myself, I know how detailed our bodies are made. And I know the level of depth that you could go into when you're studying the body. And I kind of was seeing a pattern of that in the first section, in the plants section, and I'm so glad that they really found a good balance. I think better than they did in the plant section. They found a really good balance with writing a book that's geared towards 7th and 8th graders and 3rd and 4th graders at the same time. If you start off with the plants section of the God's Design for Life, you might think, oh, this is not for a 3rd or 4th grader at all. I don't know how they can expect us to have our 3rd and 4th graders use this. I think you should go to animals or human body first, because I'm finding in both those sections, because now we've actually, at the time of this video, we've actually started the animal section as well. They're much more balanced with blending that age range of 3rd through 8th grade. Now, Master Books has just recently removed God's Design for Life from the 3rd and 4th grade, or God's Design for Science from the 3rd and 4th grade levels. They're now suggesting not starting those courses until 5th grade, and that's fine too. I just wanted, to let you know, if you wanted to start the life course with a 3rd or 4th grader, I would actually start in animals or human body, because they do a much better job, I think, of kind of balancing out the content to appeal to a wider range of students. I think I would do the plants last, or maybe just not do it at all and use maybe the activities to teach those 3rd and 4th graders, just like those blue box activities, and just do those when you get to the plant section, and maybe not read the content, because you're going to get a ton of teaching and information just by doing the blue box activities. So that's just something we've learned using the course. We're almost done with it. We're in our last section of it, and I'm delighted that the human body was not nearly as complex or as detailed of a unit as I was actually anticipating based on what we experienced in plants. It was very balanced for the ages that we use, and my son actually really liked it. And he retained a lot, which he didn't retain as much from the plant section as he did the human body section. And they're even loving the animal section even more. So I'm excited that it looks like we're going to end our homeschool year on a positive note in science. Okay, so this chatty update is all done. I'm going to go put my kiddos to bed. I hear them in the background. Daddy's kind of holding them off to the side here, trying to let me finish this video. So I'm going to say goodbye for now, but leave me questions down below if you have any. The things that I asked you to comment on, please go ahead and do that. I really do value your feedback, and I will take a look at those and catch you in the next video.